Welcome to a new video on NEGAYO's channel. Detective Comics recently released a new animated production, Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham, a film based on the story of the same name, following the Bat's adventures, back in the early 20th century in an alternate land facing Lovecraftian Christian evils. To clarify, this is not a prequel or sequel to Gotham by Gaslight, nor is it part of the Tomorrowverse. If you're wondering why it took me so long to make a video while other channels discussed this weeks ago, here's why. Well, what happened is that this movie was leaked illegally almost since the beginning of March. And as for me, honestly, I preferred to wait until the official release, which was on March 28th. But anyway, lots of weird monsters, cosmic horror, supernatural mysteries, differences from the comics, and demons without underwear. That's part of what we'll see today, so don't go anywhere. You're on the NEGAYO channel, right? I'm already live streaming on YouTube Saturdays. Next time we'll discuss this movie with spoilers. Feel free to stop by, say hi, and share your thoughts. I'll leave my short review at the end of the video. Does that sound good? Nope. In 1908, young Bruce Wayne's parents were brutally murdered for the 1000th time. Later, the young man and his butler Alfred left Gotham, with the sole purpose of traveling the world to gain all kinds of knowledge that would be useful to him. To avenge the death of Thomas and Martha. Why did you say that name? He studied psychology, philosophy, criminology, biology, engineering, accounting, airbrushing, charm, sexology, baking, theology, and martial arts. And of course, since no Batman story is complete without dead children, I mean without young sidekicks exposed to danger, he adopted 3 orphans who assist in his adventures. We're talking about Dick Grayson, Sanjay Todd, and Kylie Kane. And yes, these last 2 characters would be Jason Todd and Cassandra Cain in the traditional universe. Something strange had been happening in Gotham lately, and according to the information Bruce had gathered, it seems that a cult was behind some horrible murders. Mr. Wayne went with his team in search of a lost crew, led by Oswald Cobblepot. The area they explored was full of corpses, but 2 people were still missing, Oswald himself and a man named Grendon. Though the chances of finding them alive are slim, Bruce leaves and spots Cobblepot from afar. He tried to follow him but fell down a small cliff, landing at a cave entrance. In this place was Grendon, the lost explorer. He didn't seem surprised by Bruce's arrival. But the strangest thing of all is that this guy claimed to have lost his humanity, and that now his only purpose was to serve the creature trapped in the ice. Just one look was enough to bring Bruce down. He saw the madman had gouged out his eyes, and their struggle awakened the little monsters in the cave. The explorer broke through the wall and was infected by the creature's tentacles. He tried to attack Wayne but was struck in the face. Before passing out, he could barely mumble about the prowler's arrival.
He's coming closer.
Afterwards, the cave and the monster were destroyed. As a logical scientist, Bruce blamed Grendon and Cobblepot's madness and the animal mutations on an unknown virus. Still, Cobblepot's diary notes say the Lost Expedition's behavior in its final days was hard to explain. Also, Grendon was a living corpse who had to stay frozen.
The men are at their limit. Is
this the place? The journal confirmed an ancient cult existed in Gotham. So after 20 years, Bruce Wayne decides to return home to save his city. To stop the alleged virus from spreading, Sanjay remains on the ship to guard Grendon. Bruce greets his longtime ally, Morgan Freeman, who has helped him with the company for years. He soon faces an unpleasant surprise inside his mansion. While Wayne was examining it, he is startled when he is surprised by this corpse, shouting his own name. But the strangest thing of all is that no one else could perceive this situation. The guy was Kirk Langstrom. He was apparently killed elsewhere and brought to Bruce's home as a message. Until the motive for the murder is found, Wayne orders silence with the police. That night, before dining with his old friend Oliver Quinn, a mysterious man named Jason Blott appears outside the mansion. This man seemed to know all about Bruce, his quest for knowledge, and his plan to avenge his parents. He warns his arrival in the city has triggered a major event. Beyond his perception and Wayne's skepticism, he warns him about 3 crucial things.
First, you must look for 2 spirits, one wrapped in bats, the other in flames.
Second, to prevail in this, Bruce Wayne must die and through death become himself. Third, before it can be saved, Gotham must be burned to the ground.
This guy's aggressiveness forces Bruce to defend himself, and as a result, he ends up meeting the demon locked inside Blood. Etrigan also warns of an upcoming battle before jumping out one of the windows. I say he escaped from Alfred. Yeah, that must be it. Later, they all went to Oliver's house as planned, except for Sanjay, who was freezing on the boat. Mr. Quinn was an extraordinary hunter, but he was also a bit eccentric and had a certain fondness for alcohol. In this scene, Harvey Dent is introduced as an old friend of both and likely the next mayor of Gotham City. During this meeting, Bruce takes the opportunity to ask about Dr. Kirk Langstrom, and according to these two, he was a guy who had gone crazy studying bats. Harvey leaves, but first gives Bruce an address to find Dr. Wayne. He also says goodbye, asking Oliver as a favor to let Dick and Kay stay, using the excuse that Alfred was still cleaning the mansion. I'm going to ask for more, Sherry.
3:28 a.m.
Go now if you can't find a reason to stay with me.
The boys didn't know where Reyes' kidnapper or Bruce had gone. They had to put up with a pretty drunk Oliver Queen, and they had to take him to bed while listening to his nonsense.
Never forget the sins of the father fall upon the son.
Meanwhile, in the city, a Knight of the Night was prowling for the first time from the rooftops, heading toward Langstrom's office. Police were already investigating the site for evidence of a crime by the Doctor because of his recent behavior. However, the appearance of Batman frustrates their work. It's strange that a man of science had drawn a pentagram on the floor. Did the detective manage to find Langstrom's final statement? Somehow, the Doctor knew he was going to die. Even his notes said that it was for the best. Considering that a curse was about to fall upon the entire world, he foretold the arrival of a creature from another reality. And the ones responsible for this were the cult of Ghoul. Lastly, he mentioned the Testament of Ghoul, a book the cult needs to open the door to our land. And let this being pass. Batman quickly recalls that this book was also cited in Oswald Cobblepot's last notes. Shortly after, the Bat calls the university library, asking about the will. This professor claimed ignorance, but from a distance, Batman realizes he was hiding. The professor mutters that Oswald Cobblepot told him to destroy the will before departing on his expedition. Obviously, he didn't follow this order, and as a result, he was found by this woman, Talia al Ghul. A demon named Techa took the man, and although Batman appears unexpectedly at the scene, he is no match for this powerful enemy. Atrigan's arrival lets Batman leave to retrieve the book. Unfortunately, Talia seemed to have contingency plans for everything. You don't like that, Batman? Now you know how it feels. The detective now realizes Talia killed Langstrom and left him at the mansion. To motivate Bruce to investigate and lead her to the will, another ally of this woman, Killer Croc, shows up just to get the bat off her back. Although, luckily, this time Batman is able to get rid of the threat. For Talia, the Vigilante was no obstacle to her plans. The important thing at this moment was to recover a key located at Gotham's port, and by that she meant Grendon, who was still being guarded by Sanjay. Batman arrived at the mansion at dawn, quite injured by the way, but determined to keep working so he would be ready for his next confrontation. On the other hand, at Gotham's port, Jim Gordon and his men couldn't believe what they were seeing in the middle of summer. Oliver Queen and the guys arrived with the intention of rescuing Sanjay. They distracted the police long enough for Dick to slip away, but unfortunately it was already too late. Grendon's eerie laughter echoed in the distance, marking the end for Grayson. Didia had previously defeated Etrigan. Here I should clarify that this demon is actually a being called Jinn, or what is commonly known as a genie. This means that this character in the story cannot remain outside of his prison unless another demon takes his place. Talia had made a previous deal with Dacia. She arranged everything to gain her freedom, trading his help in a powerful ritual to revive her father. Ras Al Ghul. Bruce explored beyond what he thought was logical and discovered the story of the cult of Ras Al Ghul, devotees of Ioxoda who would do anything to bring him into our world. Because of these writings, the detective deciphers the hidden coordinates that reveal the ancient cult's secret location beneath Gotham. Hours later, Alfred learned about Sanjay and Grayson's deaths. This all happened while Batman was out searching for Talia. Race's voice led the detective to the right spot, but the fight would be tough. Killer Croc attacked again, but was defeated by powerful science. Italia, on the other hand, tried to stun the Bat, managing to bring him down just as Race had finished his spell. The reptiles invaded the city, and Batman couldn't stop his fall as the ground split open. It's important to mention that, unlike almost all the stories we know about Bruce's trauma, in this universe there were a couple of slightly different details that are quite important to the plot. First of all, neither Thomas nor Martha were mugged. Instead, someone was following them to kill them in cold blood. The second thing is that after witnessing that scene, Bruce ran scared to the top of a tower. Here, the bats would literally speak to him about his destiny, about Eucrota, and about the doom that would fall upon Gotham. However, this specific event would be forgotten by his mind. Only now, as he emerges from the sewers, does he finally recall that supernatural situations have been part of his life since childhood. Race's ritual determined the next step after the reptile plague vanished. Just like that, on the very same day Harvey Dent was elected mayor, the sorcerer only mentioned that Dent was the door and Grendon was the key to open it. Yes, it's kind of strange. How does this whole cosmic monster thing work? But as weird as it seems, Race was right. Jeev Nocherod, son of Yoxota and monster frozen in ice, fulfilled his father's will by planting this seed in Grendon. By killing this guy, the doom of Harvey Dent would be born, traditionally known as poison ivy. Just a small encounter was enough to infect him and start the decline of his physical condition.
Alfred and Morgan.
Freemen were worried about Bruce since the reptile invasion. He now talked to himself, unfazed by Sanjay and Grayson's passing. Kylie remained at Oliver Queen's home. He had also started acting strangely. He was wearing armor to protect himself from the evil that would come to Gotham, and he even had special arrows coated with the blood of Saint Sebastian. Oliver says he knows all this because of his father, a man who lived for more than 300 years and who went insane over time, also taking the lives of Thomas and Martha Wayne. A secret that, of course, he had never told anyone. Bruce had been trying to get answers from the corpse of Kirk Langstrom. He could hear him, the spirit wrapped in bats, but he didn't get what he wanted. The arrival of a very worried Kylie about Oliver finally gets Batman out of his cave. Quinn wasn't crazy. Poison Ivy was bound to reach her sanctuary eventually. The powerful creature left Oliver with no choice but to sacrifice himself in the confrontation. Batman saw his friend die. His final words confessed his father's sins, and his last heroic act was giving Bruce his sacred blade and arrows. That night, Harvey Dent was kidnapped by Talia al Ghul, and the next morning, Mr. Wayne was mourning his recent losses. He felt upset, knowing he could have prevented many misfortunes. And if only he had accepted from the beginning that there was an unexplored world far beyond his rational beliefs. Kylie begged that they both leave this cursed city. Despite everything happening, Bruce stayed determined to do whatever he could to save Gotham's people. Jim Gordon appears, offers condolences, and brings a message from his daughter Barbara, known as Oracle among spiritualists. She needed to talk to Bruce urgently. That night, Batman prepared and said goodbye to his family, aware he might never return from this mission. Goodbye,
Son? Goodbye.
Alfred. The Bat appeared in Barbara Gordon's room inside Arkham Asylum, going unnoticed by everyone except her. A clairvoyant who can communicate with spirits from beyond.
Do you know who to talk to?
I wish to speak with the spirit wrapped in...
Flames. She was the medium to speak with the spirit wrapped in flames. In Flames, a man who in life was known as Thomas Wayne.
Believe me, I wanted to tell you everything when you were older, but not like this.
He, along with Bertie Langstrom, Henry Quinn, and Oswald Cobblepot, were among the first men to arrive on the land that would one day become Gotham. They found an abandoned underground site containing the evil testament of Gulbuk. And thanks to this, they gained eternal life and their settlement in this place flourished. Using the dark arts caused the awakening of Ioxota. Centuries later, knowing what they had caused, led Bertie Langstrom to take his own life, drove Oswald to madness, and Henry ended up killing Thomas. The descendants of these three men were also cursed. Wayne's spirit says it's not too late to stop the world's end.
The sins of the father fall upon the son.
Okota could and had to be stopped. By accepting that the world exists beyond reason, Batman can finally become what he needs to end the curse. In this way, he manages to find the location of the cult, a place where Harvey remained motionless, like the door to the other side.
Take care, my friend.
Once here, Bruce Wayne's old allies awakened to stop him, and the sacred arrows were the key to defeating him. Ra's al Ghul's ritual clearly showed Ayok Sota was near. Dahlia wouldn't let Batman interrupt again, but unfortunately her enemy was far superior this time. Bruce, as a human, stood no chance against the sorcerer transformed into the terrifying Cthulhu. Batman was trapped. Gotham appeared to face doomsday. But the truth is that death was only the beginning of salvation.
To prevail in this, Bruce Wayne must die and through death become himself.
The bat emerged from the tentacles of the unnameable. He managed to defeat the creature, but the proximity of embodied evil left him motionless on the ground. At least until Adrigan asked to be released. The demon could unleash his full power to destroy everything nearby. Even in Gotham, the flames touched the red sky from the depths.
Before it can be saved, Gothica must be burned to the ground.
The inhabitants never really knew what caused the recent events in the city, but they focused on moving forward. The Wayne Foundation was an important part of the reconstruction. Bruce was honored, as were Harvey Dent and Oliver Queen. Kylie Kane was appointed as the company's director and took on the responsibility of continuing this man's dream of building a better tomorrow. And meanwhile, in the darkness, Batman will continue to watch over his home against any threats that may arise. Let me remind you that if you like my content, you really help me out with a powerful subscription. But if you want to support me financially to improve my equipment and the quality of the videos in the future, you can use the Super Thanks button, Super Chat in premieres or live streams, or the code NEGAYOBIO in the Epic Store, or by buying a membership to receive additional benefits. Now, at the beginning I mentioned that this movie had been leaked almost since the beginning of March. Honestly, I've seen many negative comments about this title since then, and today, and finally I can tell you that honestly I didn't think it was such a bad adaptation, and that's coming from someone who's not as big a fan of Batman as many people think. The design style stays simple, as is common in Detective Comics animated productions about alternate worlds. The story is entertaining but not outstanding, but I think what many fans of the Bat didn't like is that he got directly involved with magical elements. I mean, we're not used to this kind of Batman stories, are we? Where mysteries and threats beyond human perception appear and force the detective to look for solutions of the same nature. If you're a fan of cosmic horror or Lovecraft's myths, you might like the title more than you should. We should also note that much information from the comics explaining several characters' origins is missing, which is a flaw. It's nothing out of this world, but in my opinion, it's worth giving it a chance. Next Saturday, we'll talk a bit more in detail about this movie during the live stream on YouTube. So you can now activate the notification that I'll leave up here and also in the pinned comment below the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us your opinions. And for now, there's nothing else left for me to say. My name is Alex for the Nekacho channel.